Good morning. So I am back. I'll be trading today and tomorrow, thankfully. And looking at the ES, it looks like there's an uptrend that has a break and no new high. Makes me think it looks like a range. These prices just moved down here with what looks like two perfect legs down, 1, 2 legs down. Then you have an uptrend that plays out, downtrend that plays out, and an uptrend that plays out. So you're basically just getting smaller and smaller each 2 legs. So this 2 legs is pretty big. This one's a little bit smaller. This one's a little bit smaller, and then now even smaller, and prices are looking really choppy. So looks like a range to me. I'm waiting until prices get to the overnight highs or the overnight lows, and then maybe there will be something to do. But right now, not so much. On the incur, there's a similar uptrend that isn't able to play out, a downtrend that you could say possibly has an overshoot if you pull it in here. But with how prices play out, I think that this was just a wider trend, then gets broken, and this correction trend, if you draw it off these first 2 swings, has a close outside a new high, and then you have 2 legs to a new low for this downtrend. And you can see there's support coming in at the overnight lows. Clearly some resistance in at this area too. If we start to move up pretty strongly after coming off these lows, then maybe there's an entry to go long, but right now there's nothing. The CL, gonna mark the overnight highs here. CL to me looks like 2 major legs down. You can see basically 2 measured legs split by an uptrend with a close outside and 2 legs to a new high. Just kind of looking at this a couple different ways. Kind of looks like 2 legs down there as well. So downtrend, break, first leg, break, and then 2 legs, creating that second measured leg. That makes sense to me. I think this uptrend might be incorrect here. In fact, I'm going to remove it. It could be a spike in channel instead, or something of that nature. Let's try right there. So I think that this uptrend might get a break in new high. It looks like you've made 2 legs down here. You can clearly see a short-term downtrend with a close outside and a new low. So there is the possibility for a long after 2 legs down, possibility for some sort of higher low. I'm a little bit uncertain about whether prices are going to continue higher or not. So I don't think I'll be super interested in taking this trade, even if you do get like a good signal bar here. And you might. I'm drinking some coffee from yesterday from Starbucks. Getting a strong sell-off on this is the RTY. I want to look. I think I might have to change the ticks on there. Oh, it's just like super. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say it's super low volume, but I forgot it's not even 9:30 yet, so I'm gonna measure from about 8 o'clock. 27 bars. Oh, maybe I don't have to. About there. About the same, actually. It's like 31. The CL probably has even more than that. 49, so quite a few bars on that one. And less on the incur, so those are all decently close. I'm not going to change around the tick values on anything right now. But yeah, I'm just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen here. I'm not exactly sure if prices are going to continue up higher or not. And then, oh yeah, the RTY I never really talked about. Downtrend, you have to close outside a new low. Looks like you have 2 legs up here. So 1, 2 legs up. Short-term downtrend has a break in new low, finds support at the overnight lows. Uptrend has a close outside a new high. I'm going to redraw that. Looks like it has a close outside a new high, and now we're moving down strongly. So I might actually be looking for some sort of shorts on the RTY. Need to mark up everything on my second monitor. We're about 10 minutes from the open. Okay, I'm just about done getting these trends drawn up on the second monitor here. Again, really all I'm looking for right now is possibly a short on this RTY chart. Everything else doesn't really look super convincing for me. I might be looking for a second entry short here on RTY. not really anything going on, so I'm just kind of hanging out. The short-term downtrend has a close outside a new low, so I'm not really looking for any more shorts on the RTY right now. Wait until some sort of larger structure or something takes hold here before I do anything. I'm going to move up this resistance here, though I don't know if it'll be helpful at all. The overnight highs, which were over here, obviously didn't really come into play at all. So I'm just going to put that up there just so I remember it. And to be honest, it doesn't actually really need to be there. I'm just going to remove it. I have like a million things in my mind that are not trading right now, so I'm trying to take a second and refocus myself. I did meditate this morning, but again, it's gonna be a really busy weekend, so I have like a million things running through my my head about stuff that I have to do. So the meditation itself was a lot of just thinking as well, so I wasn't able to really quiet my mind, and I can feel that right now. But we're going into the open. Still, so far, nothing I'm particularly interested in. I want to pop back over to the CL where this spiking channel could be correct, the one that I was looking at earlier. Looks like prices might be finding some support off of here. It's a little bit uncertain. I mean, it's a lot uncertain, but just throwing that up there as a possibility. The NQ is continuing to move down in what looks like it could be a larger downtrend. I don't know why I didn't consider this earlier, because look at all that action to the downside. I mean, it's a lot of wicks coming in with lower highs. Now that we're making those lower lows as well, I think this could be a worthwhile one to consider there. I'm going to remove this range and instead put just the overnight lows, the overnight highs as well. So I like looking for some shorts on NQ. And the RTY, short-term downtrend, has a break in 2 legs to a new low. Now we're finding a little bit of upward movement. I am going to redraw these highs here in case this ends up being some sort of range or something like that. Currently nothing to take there, but just want to point that out. The CL, prices do look like they're probably going to continue higher. Trying to see if we're going to get through this previous high resistance there. So it could be some sort of spike in channel like this, but it is pretty uncertain whether that could be correct or not. Definitely nothing like that. Still the closest to a setup is probably incur. You do have to think, okay, why aren't prices touching the channel line, the opposite side of this trend? Which would make me a little bit hesitant to take a short right now. Kind of also looks like 2 legs down, 1, 2. So 2 things to kind of keep an eye on there. Also, if you look at the ES, prices are just touching off the overnight lows support. So it looks very different than the NQ, where prices have broken through that support. So it's pretty different. The RTY prices are also moving down. Downtrend has a break, 2 legs to new low. Uptrend has a break, a new high. Now we're getting this second move down. We're getting close to the support, so chances of having any kind of shorts are probably pretty low. And the CL, prices made a double top here. They might have made a slightly higher high. Actually, it's a perfect double top, and they are finding some resistance. So this uptrend, this spike in channel, it might be incorrect. You would have probably expected prices to push up and through there if it were correct. ES is moving through the support and strongly. Looks like there's a downtrend, something like this in play. I like that. On RTY, I want to look at the 2 legs down. It could be a possibility. See how prices react there. I do like that downtrend there. Still, the NQ is really all I'm looking at for a trade, but the ES is getting there with this strong downtrend. Would expect prices to probably come back and test this. Same on the NQ. Expecting prices at some point will probably test this overnight low that was holding a support. But for now, they're moving down pretty strongly, so I'm considering shorts on both of those. Going to go ahead and remove the spike in channel on CL, and let's draw this as a range. I like how that fits so far. RTY prices have hit that measured move down, and let's see if they're able to hold this as support at all. And I haven't had a chance to review my chart from 2 days ago, so I'll have like 4 hours of review. I was gonna say tonight. I don't know if I'll have time tonight though. Maybe I'll probably at least get one done tonight. Hopefully I can get both done today. I don't like falling behind. I always like to, review every single day and create a review document, so that way I have something to go back and study my own tendencies. But it takes like about 2 hours to study each day's chart, or charts, since I'm trading multiple. And it looks like we are finding some pretty strong buying after these 2 legs down on RTY. But it looks pretty different on the NQ, where we are continuing down strongly. Forgot to mute the mic on that first sneeze there. Okay, well, just gonna kind of keep expanding this out to wherever it fits. Could get some sort of second entry short on the ES. I might like something like that. Turning down after 1 leg up on RTY. Not sure if we'll continue down, but so far looks like we might. It's a pretty strong down move there. So the ES is probably the one that I'm looking at most closely right now. Depending on how you draw this downtrend, you could say that's a close outside a new low. So you could possibly say that's already a close outside a new low, but it's not very convincing. So if we do get a solid 2 legs up, then I'll probably still consider taking a short there. It doesn't really look like a perfect 2 legs to me right now. It kind of just looks like 1 leg or 1 short-term uptrend. So I want to wait on something more convincing than that. The NQ, I don't really know about that downtrend. I feel like there's something there. It's just tough to tell exactly what it is. Clearly there's a short-term uptrend working higher though. So possibility of an overshoot on this downtrend. Possible overshoot. Trying to see how prices are going to react. On the ES, just working up in that uptrend. Still haven't really closed outside of that in a very convincing way. And the RTY, what I thought was prices just turning down after 1 leg up, they were able to move up and attempt this break and new high. Looks like they'll probably go ahead and hit that break and new high. So we'll have to see whether they continue higher or if this is just going to be a two-legged correction before we start back down. Not sure because everything's played out on this chart so far. There's a possible trade on the CL that I don't think I would take this, but I was sort of considering as a 1-2 legs down to the support area with a decent signal bar. I feel like I would probably lose if I, did take that. I'm not very good at taking those, but it did strike my my interest there. I'm just marking it so that way I remember to keep an eye on this one, but yeah. And flipping back to the CL just to look at this one that I was looking at. Yep, prices do just turn around there. So again, that's why I don't take those ones. I'd rather just point them out and be wrong pointing them out than actually taking them. The NQ looks like it has a closeout side and new high for the uptrend, but with this possible overshoot and prices being in the middle of nowhere as far as this downtrend goes, I'm not going to take a short here even if there is a good signal bar. So it could be a good pattern, but it's not in a good location for me. I would say on the ES, it just now has a convincing closeout side. So there's the potential for a short. I would prefer to see prices move up to a break and new high of this, and then a strong move below the EMA with a lower high would probably be my ideal setup there. RTY looks like we're turning down after those two legs up. So 1, 2. And it's kind of tough to tell exactly where prices are going on RTY. We're moving down pretty strongly on CL. Could end up being just some sort of larger range where these are the highs and these are the lows. Clearly we were moving down pretty strongly though. Possibility of a downtrend of some sort. Clearly there's just a spike down for now, but I will draw this just in case it comes into play. Just in case. So possible setups on both the ES and the NQ. Looking to ES, we've moved to a closeout side new high for this short-term uptrend. Whether we'll get another move down or whether this was the closeout side new low right there is yet to be determined, but I might be willing to play for that. And on the NQ, you're coming directly off of this uptrend here, but it feels to me like this is wider. That's what it looks like. Made a double bottom on RTY. So possibility of something like a range where that could be the lows there, but gonna kind of wait that one out and see. ES is what I'm really looking at now. Like I said, I'd like to see some sort of lower high below the EMA or failed second entry. Incur, something similar would be good. It could be a close outside already there. So like if I pull this in, maybe so it's tighter, it could already have a close outside there. But we'll just have to see. Incur, closing outside of this downtrend, so it makes me think this is most likely an overshoot. And I'm going to pull this uptrend back out so it's a tad wider. Now it has that close outside and new high. So might still be looking for some shorts on the incur, but kind of have to let this up momentum play out first and see if it will play out at least. RTY. Oh, went to the wrong one there. RTY. I am going to move this support level down because it's obviously not helping you back in this area. So there's the possibility of a range where the bounds are these lows and these highs. Clearly this short-term downtrend was not able to play out. Prices are now moving up, getting 2 legs up. On the ES, we're continuing to move higher, so this downtrend might have already played out there. I want to look at the possibility of some sort of uptrend. This uptrend looks right to me on the incur, so we might get some more down movement on incur, but for now, just sticking with the bias, not really looking for any trades. It looks like on CL that this short-term downtrend, well, first off, this one is incorrect. This short-term downtrend has a close outside and a new low, and now prices are coming back to test this previous support area, which is exactly what you'd expect. On the incur, we're setting up for a possible short trade. The uptrend clearly has a close outside and new high now. Now you're getting a pretty strong move down, so if you get some sort of failure, then I'd probably be interested. Trying to see if this uptrend is going to hold on the ES, but I would say probably not. It's probably not going to hold, if I were to guess. But we'll see. It looks like 2 legs back to the key entry point. Not what I'm interested in taking, though. Incur, you're getting this possible lower high setup, but prices have moved a little bit too far, so I'm not looking to take the lower high there. On the ES, just gonna go ahead and remove that uptrend. It's probably just an uptrend with a break and 2 legs to a new high. Still looking for a possible failed second entry on NQ. First entry, possibility for a second entry under this EMA. So I'm going to prepare for a possible failure. It does kind of look like 2 legs down already, and we are finding a lot of upward momentum, so just going to go ahead and say no on that one. But yeah, it looks like a kind of 2 legs down there. Not setting up how I would want it to. Flipping back to the ES. It's possible this uptrend was correct after all. Maybe prices are moving towards a close outside and new high. It could be the case. On the CL, after the short-term downtrend played out, prices are coming back within the range. Looks like a short-term uptrend has a close outside and new high. We're back within this range now. And the RTY just moving up off this support area. You could possibly draw some sort of uptrend, but it's kind of, could be like that, I don't know. It's pretty uncertain though. So not really much that I'm looking for here. We're moving up strongly on the ES, the NQ as well. Well, more so the ES than the NQ. Write down something so I remember it later. On the ES, looks like prices moved up and made a double top. So there's some potential resistance there, also some potential support there. Just something to keep an eye on. In Q, price is just kind of moving sideways. CL, nothing to do. 2 legs up, price is kind of coming back within this range, but possibility of creating a lower high here and moving down. And the RTY is moving higher. So the closest to a potential trade for me would be the RTY if we get some sort of nice pullback, 2-legged pullback ideally. And we are moving down on RTY, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that uptrend because I don't think it's correct. It's probably more so just 2 legs up. Maybe you can just measure like that and just say, okay, that's just 2 legs up there split by a little congestive area. That's probably more so correct. So we're now moving down. If we look at the ES, this support obviously didn't come into play. To me, it looks like this uptrend gets a close outside, an attempt at a new high, creating a double top, and now we're moving lower. So there's the potential for maybe a second entry short or something of that nature. And the NQ looks like this uptrend has a close outside new high, downtrend break new low, and we're continuing down. So we could be creating some sort of secondary downtrend, maybe something like that. So possible shorts on the ES and the NQ. I think there could be a similar downtrend on the ES. It's a possibility. CL prices are moving down, so again, the possibility for a short exists here as well. Could be looking for maybe 2 legs down. So if we continue down and we get maybe a second entry short or something like that, I might like that. And it looks like on the NQ and the ES that this downtrend obviously was not correct on either one of these. And instead, it probably just looks like 2 legs down. Moving up on the RTY, despite there just being 1 leg down. So it's probably finding support off this same level. Nothing super interesting going on for the most part. It's just been lots of kind of sideways action. No real potential setups. Nothing super close at least. The uptrend on ES made the closeout side a new high for this uptrend. Assuming that's correct. Looks like this range isn't of any help, but you could just have a larger range. Looks like that could be a midline. Let's go ahead and draw this as a true range. It looks like maybe that's a midline coming in there. Possibility. Nothing really setting up super cleanly. Gonna relook at this uptrend again. Maybe this was correct after all. So definitely nothing I'm interested in on CL. Don't really see anything I'm interested in on the ES because it looks to me like there's a close outside and new high for this uptrend already. And the NQ, just kind of moving sideways. So to me it looks like this uptrend here, I think, is correct with a close outside and new high. Then you get these 2 legs down before you start another uptrend here. Looks like you're about to close outside of that, so I would expect a new high, but it looks pretty weak, and it's a little bit of an uncertain kind of area to me. But I think you are probably going to head higher here. I'm actually going to extend this out just a tad. I think that's good. It's possible this is wider as well on the ES. So maybe we are looking for longs on the ES and the NQ still. Looks like ultimately maybe we're headed towards a measured move up. That could be the same on the ES as well. Looks like we've already hit that on the ES. Ultimately, probably expecting prices to come up to these highs here. And at least on the NQ, I'm expecting them to retest this old support, which might hold as resistance. CL, it's pretty uncertain kind of what's going on in whole. I don't think this range really helped. If anything, maybe there's just some support there. Uptrend gets 2 legs down, attempted a new high, double top, short-term downtrend break a new low, uptrend break a new high. Now you're just kind of consolidating here and, you know, kind of trading in, so making lower highs but also making higher lows. So it's kind of tough to tell what's going on in that area. RTY continuing to move higher. Yeah, not much to say there. Expecting prices to probably turn down off this overnight high. ES is creating the possibility for a second entry long, but I don't really like the look of this. So like even if you got a bullish bar, and it would be a first entry, second entry long, I don't like the look of it. Kind of looks like there's already 2 legs up. Prices are pretty choppy. It kind of just looks like 1 leg down, ultimately. So yeah, I'm not interested in that one. I could be interested in a long here, but this correction has to play out. I'm not going to take it with a correction that's sort of subpar. Man, coffee just like does not taste good. Like I'll drink it, but it's so bitter. Kind of tastes like poison. Yeah, no, not a huge fan of that. It's funny to look at stuff like this bar, and think at one point in time I might have taken that as like a first entry, second entry, high or low, you know, but like it's way too congestive. The bars move too far. There's hardly anything interesting going on today. I mean, I don't see really anything that I was interested in taking. Even in hindsight, I don't see anything on the ES or the NQ. This one would be aggressive on CL, but like maybe you could find this double top. If you look at this as one low, first entry, second entry with a bearish bar, double top, maybe that's pretty aggressive. I don't think I would take that anyway. That's all that I see there. And this one's aggressive too. I don't think I would take this one. You can see a 2 legs down, 2 legs up, spike down, creates a second entry. I'm not even going to mark that, but I was going to say that could be a second entry long coming off this support, but I don't even think that I can mark that really. Clearly we're continuing upwards though. So maybe there's some kind of larger structure, possibly. Definitely uncertain about that larger uptrend there. There could be also maybe a spike in channel, if there is a channel, but I'm just going to look at that for now. Looks like we moved to the close outside a new high for both the ES and the NQ. So those have played out. And the doors are open to potentially take some shorts now. We filled this gap where this was previous support. Prices broke it. Now we've come back and we've held it as resistance just for this one bar so far. So if we continue to move down, then maybe I'll be looking for some shorts. The ES, same thing, uptrend has a break new high. Still, ultimately would expect prices to come up to this overnight high. That looks like a range high. But if they turn down, then I'd probably be willing to take some shorts with it. That's about all I see right now. And we are continuing to move higher on the ES. So it's possible we just go ahead and move on up to this overnight high. The NQ continuing to find this resistance off the old support. But nothing much, and it's been a pretty slow hour and 15 since I've gotten on. Slow and steady and not much going on. And it's times like this that I'm very tempted to, pull up like a YouTube video or play some music or something. It's kind of boring. But have to just stay focused because you never know what's going to happen. The market can switch on a dime, and there can be a setup that appears in the next minute or two. So have to stay focused. Still a possibility on RTY. Moving on up on both the NQ, the ES, and the RTY. So through this old support turn resistance, pushing up through there. And the ES looking like it's probably going to go ahead and come on up to this overnight high. Could be a wider trend up. Certainly a possibility. Not sure where the trend is on RTY. There's a bunch of ones that look like they could be right to me. Like this one looks like it could be right as a spike in channel, but this one also could be correct. But also, something like this could be too. So there's a lot of possibilities right now. Just gonna play this for now, because it's the tightest fit. Moving down pretty strongly on CL. moving up really strongly on the ES and the NQ. I believe the RTY as well. So I actually do want to change this. Let's try out that. See how that works out. Does skip some price action, but it fits to me as a spike in channel so far. Kind of looks like an exhaustive move. It's a lot of upward movement pretty quickly. It's an interesting structure on the ES because it looks to me like an uptrend with a closeout side, basically a new high, and then kind of get triple test type of area before you move up for a measured leg. But after that breaks in this range type of area, you continue to move up in what could be this uptrend here. So it's kind of like 3 legs up. It's kind of a strange structure. Same with the NQ. I don't think that downtrend's right on the CL. I don't really know why I drew that there. If anything, you might get something like this. So there's the possibility of a long on NQ, though as I mentioned, this kind of feels like it could have been an exhaustive move. That's a lot of buying at kind of like the end, or what could be the end of this trend, assuming this larger uptrend is not correct. Same with the ES. In fact, I'm going to remove that trend. That could just be, I mean, really it's just probably a retest trend. So I might be looking for a failure here. The NQ, I mean, we'll see. I don't want to, get too ahead of myself here. Looks like we might be working towards this measured move down after all. RTY, there's the potential to look for a long. Again, not sure about this uptrend. Could be incorrect. Okay, I'm going to move back to using something like this. Let's see. I definitely don't want to go long on the ES because you just broke out of this overnight high with that exhaustive looking move. But I'm hesitant to go short too because first off, that's a lot of upward momentum. Second off, the NQ still looks pretty good for longs. It's not in a reversal spot. And the RTY is looking strong as well. So I'm hesitant to short on the ES, but because of that, I'm also hesitant to go long on the RTY or the NQ. But I'm just going to play it by ear and see what kind of sets up and how I feel about it as it goes. Don't want to get, like I said, don't want to get too ahead of myself. Okay, I like how that's working out on the RTY so far. You'll see the NQ is also moving up, as well as the ES. So I'm going to redraw this uptrend that I removed and say that could still be correct because it's just one leg down and prices are moving up pretty strongly off of that level. I'm just going to bring that up off of the bodies there. Maybe that'll fit a little bit better. Lots of little trends going on the ES. So definitely the potential for longs on the ES, the NQ, and RTY, but that's really about it right now. On the ES, looks like prices are still within this uptrend, but if you look at the NQ, looks like prices have broken it here. RTY is still within the uptrend as well, so sort of some conflicting signals going on, but all of them still looking for potential long entries. The ES, there's the possibility for a long as prices pull back here, the second entry long, one leg back, and then it'd be basically a higher low off the trend line. That is a possibility that I might be interested in. It is a higher low second entry. Prices have failed to reach the channel line of the uptrend. So those are two things to keep an eye out for. I think I'm really going to need to see some momentum here in order to take a trade.
Order submitted.
Really show that prices are going to push off of that trend. So far I am seeing that. So I like the look of this so far. Signal bar is getting a little bit big. We're a little bit far from the EMA as well, so we're not off the EMA. I do want to point out as well that we've broken out of these highs, the overnight highs. So it's not the greatest place to long, but I like how the uptrend is looking so far. If this breaks higher, I'm going to drop a limit order back just a little bit and hopefully decrease the risk of this trade. Okay, so I'm going to drop a limit order back right there. See if prices are able to fill me. So definitely some things, like I said, not to love about this trade, but given that it's a second entry off of what I think is a correct key entry point, I liked the momentum in the signal bar. But the negatives, of course, are the fact that we've broken out of these highs and prices didn't reach the channel line last time. Definitely noticing that my heart rate has increased. Not incredibly, but a little bit. Price is looking a little bit sideways here. And looks like I'll get stopped out on this one.
Stop filled.
So, guess the negatives there outweighed the positives. And on the NQ for this uptrend, it looks like it already has a close outside a new high. So I'm not really looking for any longs there. The RTY still has some possibilities. But for the most part, we're just moving sideways on the RTY. Still expecting that we could go up and test these highs on the ES. It looks to me like, for the most part, I just kind of bought at the high of a kind of sideways area. So maybe there will be a better setup here. I have to wait and see if maybe there's a full correction that I can take advantage of. Looks like we might continue up on the ES. I mean, if prices do continue up, then basically I'll have been right in the idea that we are taking longs, but wrong in the timing. Of course, they don't have to, though. They could just turn down here. Overall, not really feeling too affected by that loss. I mean, I noticed the negatives. It's not like I feel like I really misread the chart. I just kind of miscalculated the negatives versus the positives, basically. So, just something to study later. It looks like we have a close outside and a new high on the ES, and a more convincing close outside and new high on the NQ as well. The NQ could have a spike in channel. Now that I look at it, the NQ could be similar to the ES, or similar to the RTY, I suppose, which has the spike in channel. But I'm just going to leave it like this for now and say that it just has a break in new high until prices prove me wrong. That's a very strong up move on the ES, so just barely missed that one on the swing that I took, unfortunately. Looks to me like the RTY, the ES, and the NQ all have closeout sides and a new high, so breaking new high of the uptrend. Not really expecting any more up movement out of any of those for the time being. CL continuing to move down. I'm definitely thinking there could be some sort of larger downtrend. I'm not entirely sure where it would be. So just kind of trying to think about that and trying to figure that one out. I mean, it could just be this, where prices have a close outside and a new low. Keep an eye on that one. And we are continuing down on the CL. So I'm going to look at this downtrend here. See about something like that. The ES is playing like it might not have a closeout side yet. So truthfully, if you were to pull this in, or I guess drag it out just a tad, you could still get that to fit. So there's not a super convincing closeout side on the ES, which means there is still the possibility to take some longs. But if you look at the NQ, then it does look like there's a pretty convincing closeout side, unless you draw a completely different trend. But I would say probably does have a closeout side there. The RTY probably does have a closeout side as well, which makes me think that the ES probably does too. Just have to kind of wait and see, and definitely be hesitant to take a long on the ES. So here is basically a similar trade to the one that I just took here, with a possible second entry off this trend line. As I said, this trend line might be incorrect. So definitely at the risk of overfitting this trend line and dragging it out unnecessarily. Let's pull it back in here. Let's see. Yeah, could be right, could not.
Order
There's
submitted.
definitely a possibility to take this long here. Another second entry long. I'm not seeing any strength in that signal bar.
Order canceled.
So I'd say it's probably best to hang up looking for longs on the ES. I think that it was almost a bad decision to continue to look for a long there. I think there's probably a closeout side, especially considering that it looks like there is on the NQ and the RTY. It's best to just hang that up and start seeing what structure forms now after the uptrend. But the CL, on the other hand, I definitely want to see whether this trend ends up being correct. Could also be some sort of spike in channel, where those are like some lows. That's definitely a possibility. So unsure about where that is. We're clearly trending down though, for the time being. That doesn't really look right to me. I like the way that fits off the low side. So let's see if maybe this will fit on the high side as well, but it looks a little funky for a downtrend, for a spike in channel. Yeah, I'm not sure. Clearly we've moved past this measured move down. On the RTY, we're continuing to range. with how prices are reacting on the ES, it makes me think that maybe the uptrend is wider after all. So maybe we will still move to this, break a new high. We're still staying up in a way that makes me think that that could be correct. And I might bite those words in like a second if prices just continue down here. But for now, I'm going to take a look at this and see how that looks. Makes me think on the NQ that maybe it is wider as well, but it's kind of tough to make this piece right here fit within any kind of uptrend. I mean, it's possible. You can do something like that. That feels really strange. I don't know. It just doesn't quite feel right. But with how prices are reacting here, this doesn't feel quite right either. So maybe it's just like this. Maybe. Not entirely sure. Definitely looks like kind of two legs down, a two-legged correction. Looks like we might be headed towards those highs now. I do feel pretty good about the RTY. I like where this one fits. There's still the possibility for this major uptrend where the midline is holding through here. But that's probably a little bit less likely. CL, I'm going to switch back to this downtrend, just because you're finding some odd resistance right there. You should be moving up to the EMA, so it's kind of an odd resistance area. So prices have moved to the break and new high of this wider uptrend on the NQ. They're getting pretty close on the ES. I'm assuming that's where prices will head there as well. And the RTY is continuing upwards for what might just be a second leg up. So you might just consider that a uptrend with a close outside and two legs to new high. So that's kind of how I'm seeing this so far. But I don't feel like my read of the chart has been all that great today. I mean, apart from the fact that I did just take, one loser, it feels like my read has been a little bit off. And I've had some trouble understanding what's going on. Continuing up higher on RTY, even past these kind of two measured moves. So this larger uptrend might be correct. Also, maybe there's something wider, but I like how this one was fitting all throughout here. So I think this uptrend was probably correct. And maybe this larger one is too, in the end. The midline could kind of fit there. That would make some sense. So yeah. ES has moved to its break and new high. So uptrend here, close outside, new high. Have to see where prices go from there. The ES, same thing. CL continuing to move down. So possible shorts on CL and possible longs on RTY right now. If this uptrend's correct, the larger one, then prices are really playing off this midline. So if we do get some sort of two-legged pullback off the midline, then maybe that could be something I'm interested in. Got about 45 minutes left, and I'm kind of ready to be done with today. Got a lot of stuff to do for the rest of the day, and kind of ready to just go ahead and get started on that. Today's been so slow, and it's been kind of tough to be really engaged and interested in this chart today. I'm of course going to stay on until 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, but just wanted to mention that I am a little bit ready to head out of here for today. Of course, it would be nice to have a winning trade to offset that loser, but I want to be careful not to force some kind of revenge trade, because ultimately it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter if I have, one loser, or two, or even 10, as long as I'm trading well. And by trading well, I mean reading the chart and taking the trades that I think are good. If I do that, that's all that matters. Looks like the CL is now breaking this downtrend. So there's the possibility to take a short entry. It's a little bit far away now. It's at least, maybe 4 or 5 bars away. But just want to go ahead and start looking at that. The other possibility is still on the RTY, where there could be a long entry. So I'm watching both the CL and the RTY, really. really got to run to the bathroom, but it's kind of not the best time to do so with two possible setups, so just going to hold off and see if those set up and then hop off for a minute or two. I think if there's a lower high second entry here, I'm probably going to skip it. This doesn't really feel like a great place to take a lower high second entry. What that means is if we were to tick below and then get a second entry where we don't create a new high for this correction, so if it looks like this, then I probably wouldn't want to take the trade that would set up right here, because this has not been a very strong downtrend. I really want to wait until the uptrend gets a close outside and a new high before I look to take any kind of short. Just in this specific area. Most likely. I mean, we'll see how it sets up and what sets up, because, I never want to say something too early. I don't want to, just go ahead and box that one out too early. So there could be a slight close outside of this. It's like if you kind of say that the short-term uptrend is here, then It could be a close outside, but it also could still be intact if you pull it out. So I'm uncertain about that one. It is a pretty strong move up. It doesn't feel like the up momentum has really dissipated. So I'm very hesitant to look for any kind of short there. And of course, if we flip over to the RTY, prices are still kind of continuing higher slash chopping around. So it doesn't look particularly close to a setup either. So basically ditching, looking for shorts on CL. The RTY isn't particularly close, so I'm going to run to the restroom, and hopefully I'm not going to miss anything while I'm gone. Okay, so I'm back here. Looks like we got quite a bit of movement. On the ES, to me, it looks like the uptrend is played out. Now we're getting a strong downtrend. So there's the potential to take some shorts on ES. On the NQ, looks about the same to me. Want to keep in mind the support here. CL is really moving up strongly. So while this downtrend could be correct, it's odd that prices would just switch and just start moving higher there. It's very weird. So maybe it's really just these two legs down. Oops. So maybe something like that. And the RTY we're clearly correcting as well. So whether this larger uptrend is right on RTY, I don't know. We're going to find out soon though. Could be that wasn't a very convincing close outside and this is really just two legs afterwards. So let's keep an eye on that one. But the ES, after such a strong down movement, I would consider taking a second entry short. There's a potential long setting up on CL because there's a clear spike up here, and then you have a first entry, so there could be a second entry. I'm pretty sure prices are going to test this high. So we'll just have to see if there's a setup to do it. Looking at the RTY, you do have this one leg back, and it does create what's going to be a second entry here, but this is a pretty strong leg back, so I don't want to take anything until this correction plays out. I'm also not sure if this larger uptrend is right, and if it's not, then all you have is basically, oh, whoops, that was kind of, that's kind of strange. Then all you would have is basically this spiking channel that has a close outside and a new high. So I need to see this correction play out and then see what's going to happen afterwards. And there is the potential to still take a long here. The short-term downtrend on the ES has now played out. We kind of go into this like little congestive area, but now we have a break and new low for this downtrend. So I'm trying to see if we're going to come back within this range. We very well might. NQ looks very similar to the ES, where this downtrend has a close outside and a new low, running into this support here. So let's see what's going to happen there. Definitely, I think I'm more short biased on the ES and the NQ, but there's nothing that's like really close to setting up. Definitely want to look at the CL. There's a possibility that this breaks lower and we get a second entry long. So that's what I'm looking at here. So clearly, it's an uptrend. It gets broken. This one leg back. So I'm looking for some sort of second entry long. And here, I might actually be willing to take a higher low second entry. So before the short-term downtrend even plays out, because this was such a strong spike up that it might be okay. Definitely picked up a little bit of volatility there. That was kind of interesting. It picked it up for a second and then sort of died off. On the RTY, the short-term downtrend has a close outside and a new low, so there's the potential to take a long. I want to keep an eye on that. Again, very uncertain about this uptrend, but this downtrend has played out here. So if we do get a bullish bar, there's a chance that I'd be willing to take that. I don't want to put too much weight in the fact that this uptrend could be here, but that it would be a key part of this trade, assuming it does set up here. So want to be ready for that one, just in case. Again, it's one of those where it's not a perfect trade, but I could totally see it working out. So I'm tempted.
Order
put an order
submitted.
just in case here. So far, we're not seeing any rejection. So we're not seeing like some strong buying come in, which is definitely making me feel like I'm not super interested. That's a tiny little doji bar. Definitely no rejection off that level.
Order canceled.
Doesn't mean there won't be, but there's just not yet.
Order
Want to
submitted.
be ready for it just in case. Not interested in that one either. Chances are it's probably better just to wait on a higher low.
Order
here,
canceled.
especially as prices aren't rejecting off that level. So if we get some sort of higher low, Well, I guess I'm just going to remove that uptrend altogether, actually, because it's obviously not holding. So I think that this is probably just played out, and going to stop looking for longs there. Let's flip back to the CL, where there's the possibility of the second entry, but I don't really want to take it now. And the reason is because it's not just like a slight correction. This is a one leg down in congestion as prices attempted this high. So it's not the same setup that I was looking for previously. Now, if prices do pull down and create like a triple test or have a break in new low for this downtrend, then there's still the potential for the entry. But if we do get like a bullish bar here, creating that higher low second entry, I'm not going to be interested in that one. Okay, so the possibility to take a long still exists on CL. It's not as good of a setup as I was hoping for. If this bar turns bullish, then I'm not going to take that. But if this bar turns bearish and we have a tick below and we have a bullish bar that ends really kind of at this support level, but a little bit above it, that would be quite good. So the possibility exists for a long, looks like 2 legs down. Still thinking prices will probably retest these highs. So thinking prices will probably retest these, but unless there's at least an equal low on the signal bar. So unless prices tick down here for that equal low, I'm not even really looking for an entry. I do like how this looks like 2 legs down. So you're not getting that strong push above the EMA that I'd be hoping for. So I was thinking I might consider taking a higher low after these 2 legs back, but I would have liked to see a nice push above the EMA. And here, this one is, price is kind of rejected here with both of these wicks up and ending what looks like under the EMA twice. So it's not exactly what I'd be looking for there. So we're actually moving down pretty strongly on CL. And it looks like I was probably wrong about this being 2 legs back before we move higher. So definitely a good amount of misreads today that I'll have to study later on and figure out exactly where I was going wrong. Okay, well, there's only about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to take a look at all the charts and see what's going on. So we had this uptrend, it wasn't able to play out. Got a short-term downtrend with break and new low, creating 2 legs down. Uptrend gets a break and 2 legs to a new high. And then short-term downtrend has a break and new low, creating this support area here. Uptrend, break, new high. Then you go into this congestive area, gets a breakout, pullback, strong leg down, gets a slight close outside a new low. Uptrend, break, attempt at a new high, creates a double top. Then you get this larger sort of second leg down. So it kind of looks like 1, 2. And then you head higher for the 1, 2 legs up, get some congestion, and we fold over into a larger uptrend that has a break, short-term downtrend, close outside, attempt at a new low, find some support off what is really probably just a congestive area here. Breakout, pullback, heads higher, break a new high for this uptrend, strong move through the EMA, and now it looks like we're coming back within the overnight highs and lows for what could be this kind of range here, which is sort of uncertain, but clearly this downtrend has a break and new low, coming back within this area. And yeah, now we're just kind of chopping around there. Incur is very similar, uptrend doesn't play out. We get this larger downtrend here, overshoot, leads to a break. The uptrend has a break and new high, 2 legs down, attempting at the new low, but since this is an overshoot, doesn't always get one. Now you fold into this uptrend here, it gets 2 legs down, breaking it, and then 2 legs up to a new high. Downtrend comes down, breaks, new low, finds support at the same level, and now we're trying to work through this support level. On the CL, it looks like there's 2 larger legs down. Uptrend gets a break and a new high with a strong second leg up, 2 legs back, find some support, and then we get a move to the break and new high of this uptrend from earlier, but it just creates a double top instead of the break and new high. If you're being aggressive, you might be able to take this short here, where there's a double bottom, and you can see that as a first entry, second entry with a bearish bar and double top. Looks like this short-term downtrend here gets a break and new low, 2 legs up, and then it gets a little bit confusing in this area. Short-term downtrend has a break and new low, one leg up, then we're moving down. Downtrend gets a break and 2 legs to a new low. So it's kind of confusing exactly what's going on in this area, and it's possible that I'm reading it a little bit wrong. In fact, it could be maybe something like this, where that's the break in new low. But I'm sort of uncertain about exactly what was going on in this area. So I'm just playing around with a few things to see what could fit. It's possible that maybe it's this with that close outside new low. Anyway, you have this uptrend, 2 legs back, and I was looking at possibly buying here, but prices ended up continuing down a little bit. Now I'm trying to see if they're going to retest these highs or not. After such a strong up move, it would surprise me if we don't, but you know, with how all over the all over the place this chart has been, the CL, it wouldn't surprise me if we don't go to test these highs. Now the RTY, downtrend, break new low, 2 legs up, downtrend, break new low, finding some support here. Short-term uptrend, break new high, downtrend, break 2 legs to new low, 2 legs up. Then you get the second larger leg down measured for this one, 2 legs up, and then another attempt at going lower. 1 leg down, finds support at this double bottom, and then goes into this uptrend here, gets broken with 1 leg. That one isn't able to play out, finds some support at this area, and then we continue higher for a spike and channel up. That gets a break, 2 legs to a new high. Now we have 2 legs down. Probably pretty close to measured there, and we're congesting. So that's what I see. Not really many opportunities. There is this trade here that I timed incorrectly, so I was thinking this uptrend was probably correct, and I took the first entry, second entry long right there. Knew it was a little bit aggressive to take that one, and looks like my timing was just a little bit off as prices backed up a little bit further and then headed higher, kind of where I was thinking they were going to go. So we'll have to take a look at that one later on today. But that's it for me. I'll be on tomorrow, and that'll wrap up the week. Oh, let me look at these. Looking at the chats here. So hopefully you guys saw that I only checked the chat at 12 o'clock p.m., which is now. So what's up, Screech? And Alex says he's just checking out the channel. He's trading the incur at present and is asking how long I've been trading. Alex, I've been trading for 3 years. Well, I've been trading price action trading, so PATS, max price action trading system, for 3 years, and traded on and off before then. So really, I consider myself to have traded for about 3 years. I mean, really seriously traded for 3 years, and before that, it was just sort of messing around, didn't really know what I was doing. But yeah, hopefully you guys will see that later on. I know you're not on currently. And yeah, that's it for me.